Indigenous media is in crisis. After 59 years in operation, Inuvik-based newspaper, the Inuvik Drum, shuttered its doors. Just weeks before, Akwesasne-based paper, Indian Time, ended operations after more than 40 years.
Indian Time opened up in 1983, so that was quite a long run. But the last few years, it was difficult to compete with online media.
Marjorie Skitters was the editor of Indian Time. She says a big void in news coverage remains at a pivotal time. As Akwesasne runs through the borders of both Canada and the United States, concern is growing as some of U.S. President Donald Trump's recent anti-immigration roundups have targeted members of the Navajo Nation.
Now there's a vacuum. There's no media for this community, and there's no media for any Native community that has lost their newspaper.
Both Indian Time and Inuvik Drum closed due to lack of ad revenue. Even an established news outlet like The Nation is experiencing issues.
We were just starting to get advertising from Facebook and that, and we were starting to use it in certain ways and expand on it, and all of a sudden there's no access.
Will Nichols runs The Nation, a news magazine serving Quebec's Cree communities. He says the meta ban has hindered their relationship across Instagram and Facebook. Nichols says The Nation also uses grants from the government, but he says these grants are very limited for Indigenous media.
Even after 35 years, I'm only making $40,000 a year, and we really can't afford to pay me any more than that.
Steve Bonspiel runs Ganawage's newspaper, The Eastern Door.
It all depends on how it's structured.
He says the paper gets some money from grants, but it is limited.
If we were only doing ad sales and only circulation, we'd be in trouble.
Out of the fire of the Oka crisis, or known to locals as the Siege of Akwesasne, The Eastern Door was born in 1992. Bonspiel says the paper amplified Indigenous voices and perspectives in the aftermath of the crisis, during a time where Indigenous voices were invisible in the media.
Other than that, all my other stories are in.
While The Eastern Door remains strong, there's always decisions about cutting costs.
Our print bill is so high. I'm like, there's going to come a time where we're like, do we cut this out? Can we make it work online?
Even outside of times of crisis, Indigenous-run media is still necessary.
It's important for the community to see themselves in the paper and in any media. That's the only way you can understand who you're writing about, who you're covering, the stories you're covering, why the trauma exists, why certain people won't look you in the eye and why others will talk your ear off for an hour, without asking one question. So all of that is understanding our communities.
Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Montreal.